this up here.
Thank you.
Please be seated. Good evening. My name is Josh Isaacson, and I have the privilege to serve as the superintendent for the Soto School District. It is my pleasure to welcome the parents, family members, and friends of our graduating class of 2022. Tonight, we are gathered to recognize the successful educational attainment of a high school diploma by this group of excellent young men and women. Class of 2022. Your journey has been nothing short of historic. We are all proud of your resiliency, determination, and the strength you have shown to be here tonight. And we offer our most heartfelt congratulations. Perseverance, determination, and grit has been shown by each of you and your families, and you should all be proud of your accomplishments as DeSoto Dragons. I would also like a moment to recognize DeSoto faculty and staff for all of their hard work and commitment to our students. Please rise and remove your hats as our 2022 salutatorian, Ethan Gers, leads us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing for our national anthem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. National anthem. Symbols?
Please be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce our senior concert choir members led by Miss Victoria Jones. Mrs. Beverly Wilson, our board president, sends her deep regret that she's not able to join the class of 2022 this evening. Please keep her and her father in your prayers at this time. Please welcome our DeSoto Board Vice President, Mr. Mark Farrell, as he introduces tonight's commencement speaker.
For a commencement address, I would like to introduce Ms. Cheryl Jo Aylesworth. As a 1967 DeSoto graduate, Cheryl participated in concert choir, cheerleading, student council, Spanish club, and was vice president of her senior class. After high school, Ms. Aylesworth spent 1 year at Jefferson College before transferring to Central Missouri State University, where she earned a Bachelor's of Arts degree in elementary education. Cheryl went on to earn a master's degree in guidance and counseling, along with her psychological examiner's license and her secondary principal's certification from Southeast Missouri State University. Cheryl has served as an elementary teacher at Grandview R2 schools, an at-risk program teacher for Cape Girardeau, a kindergarten teacher for Festus School District, and a 6th grade teacher at the Dunklin School District. Cheryl has also served for 16 years as an elementary and high school counselor and high school cheer coach at Dunklin. In 2005, Cheryl became the first female high school principal for Hillsborough High School, serving for 4 years before retiring from education in 2009. Cheryl has served on the Dunklin Board of Education for the past 12 years and was elected to the Dunklin Hall of Fame in 2017 for her distinguished service. Cheryl and her husband Jerry have 3 grown children, Matt, Ben, and Kate. Jerry and Cheryl are also the proud grandparents of Ethan, Sydney, Andy, and Reno. Would you please give a warm welcome to Miss Cheryl Aylesworth?
Thank you. Got to bring this down a little bit, I think. Can you hear me? Got to take my glasses off. I can't see you, but I can't read with my glasses on, so thank you so much from the to the Board of Education and to Dr. Isaacson for inviting me this evening. Are there any 1967 DeSoto graduates in the stands out there? You don't want to admit it? 55 years ago. It's amazing. Dr. Isaacson said I could have 55 minutes for every year. Is that okay? I promise we'll keep it shorter. You're probably, if you graduated in 1967 and you see me up here, you're probably wondering, why am I here as the guest speaker? Well, I'm wondering that too. What's special about me? Absolutely nothing. I am as ordinary as any other person sitting here tonight. And yet my ordinary life is riddled with hilarious and sometimes heartbreaking mishaps as I've guided myself through this thing we call life. In fact, my life is so ordinary that when I picked the idea for this speech, I thought it was so clever to only find out that there had been a whole book written about the idea behind this speech. So even my thoughts are ordinary. I hope by the end of the speech, we can figure out why I was asked to be your guest speaker. I know each of you graduates very well from being a counselor and a high school principal. They're the brainiacs. They're the ones that managed with honors and straight A's and graduated. And then they're the middle of the roaders who packed a lot of good times but managed to keep a reasonable GPA, right? And then there are those of you who are sitting out there right now who were sweating all day long to see if you passed that last exam to get enough credits to be here tonight. But guess what? You're going to blink tonight, and you're all going to be starting right back at the starting line. Have you ever counted the number of times you blink in 1 minute? On average, adults blink between 10 and 20 times per minute, and each blink lasts just 1/10 of a second. 14,000 to 19,000 times a day, 100 to 134,000 times a week, and between 5.2 and 7.1 million times a year. How many times do you think you blink in your lifetime? Currently, the average lifespan of the average American is 78.5 years, according to the World Bank. So we know how many times we blink in in our lifetime is 444 million to 592 million times. While we're blinking, what are we missing? What's going on? What do we miss when we blink? Before your eyes is a new video game that you control using only blinking and your eyes. The game's premise is to relive the memories of your life. Every time you blink, you move to a new memory, and the precious ones fade away. Okay, for me, blink right now. Close your eyes. Picture yourself in kindergarten. I bet you can vividly picture yourself. I remember kindergarten. Mrs. Pickering was my kindergarten teacher at Horace Mann Elementary in St. Louis. I distinctly remember Miss Pickering bringing out a big basket full of all different colors of yarn, and that's how she taught us our colors. We weren't as advanced as you. We were learning colors in kindergarten. And I also remember running around on the playground and crashing into a classmate and hitting our heads so hard we literally knocked each other out. Okay, blink again. Now you're in junior high. I blinked again, and my dad moved us to the country to Cedar Hill. I went to Grandview Elementary, and I thought I had moved to another part of the world. Dad said, "We're going to B to C to Y to where, and that's where your new school is going to be." And being a second grader, I kept saying, "Where?" I started Grandview in the 2nd grade, and the next time I blinked, I was in the 7th grade in Mr. Guest's class. And yes, Kenny Guest was from DeSoto. Mr. Guest would make us stand up every day and jump up and down and say, "I'm awake, I'm awake, I'm awake," because he said whatever you said and believed, you would be, and he wanted us to be awake. So blink again. Look around, you're a freshman in high school. I blinked, and Grandview didn't have a high school at that time, so I attended DeSoto High School, and I was a freshman. One of my traumatic moments in high school was attending the school play. The school play was a major community event, and it was on a Sunday afternoon, and the play was being performed in what is affectionately known by all of you as the Pit. Everyone dressed up to attend the play, and I was no exception. I came with my friend Kathy Gannon, and I wore my best dress and my first pair of high heels. I got to the top of the infamous stairs and started to make our way down to the steps to the gym floor. That's when it happened. Someone said hello. I turned to see who it was. My heel slipped off the step, and I started falling forward, and my good friend Kathy stepped out of the way, and I went head first down those steps with my behind up to the audience. I landed on my hands and knees with torn nylons and my shoes strewn all over the floor, with the roar of my friends in the front row, which was deafening. Thankfully, I blinked again, and 4 years went by, and I was a senior. I remember our basketball season my senior year. I was a cheerleader, and our basketball team had a record of 26-0. and we were headed to the first round of the state tournament in Cape Girardeau. It began to snow during the day, and it turned into a blizzard. We didn't get to leave for the game until school was out, and we weren't sure we were going to get to go. The team left before the pep bus, and the snow was accumulating faster and faster. The team and the pep bus arrived at the stadium at least 2 hours late, but they let us play the game. The game went back and forth and back and forth, and we were down by 1 point with just seconds on the clock when one of our players went down the court on a fast break and went in for an easy layup. The gym went totally silent, and as the ball hit the rim and just spun around and around and around, what seemed like forever, it fell out. Our first loss of the season, and it was devastating. But I blinked again, and the game was over, and I was now attending Central Missouri State University, which I chose, by the way, because my beloved cheerleading coach, Mary Alice Weber, went there, and I had to follow in her footsteps. As one's life does, eventually things go from precious grade school reflections to the big stuff. We each blink our eyes. I saw new stages of my life. I started my first teaching job, got married, had 3 children, earned a master's degree in counseling, and became a principal. All of that stuff, and then I blinked again, and I was retired. Sometimes I think, darn, I will never be 15 or 25 again. Those are lives I've lived, and they're over. And I get a little wistful, thinking I might like to get some of that time back. And then I think it does get better, and sometimes worse, but also better. Right now, I'm propping my eyes open with toothpicks because we all know what happens in my next blink. So why was I asked to speak tonight? As you can see, I'm just ordinary. I'm not telling you this to brag, but I was voted most popular in my senior class. I was one of you middle-of-the-roaders. I wasn't the prettiest, I wasn't the smartest, or the most talented. I was just ordinary. But I think I was extraordinary, an ordinary friend to my classmates. The same was true about being an extraordinary, ordinary daughter, wife, mother, teacher. And what does being extraordinary, ordinary people, what do they look like? Well, according to Dr. David Sack, there are 5 qualities of extraordinary, ordinary people. They focus on the things that matter. For me, that was focusing on relationships. They are kind. I try, not always, but I manage most of the time. They are willing to be seen as imperfect. They know we learn our best lessons from imperfections. You heard about my imperfections and my willingness to laugh about it. They make it a priority to connect with others. Again, I work on relationships. They accept joyfulness in their lives, knowing they deserve to be happy, but they understand there will be tough times to go through. They welcome what they get, and they understand it will come in the most ordinary moments. My life has been full of joys which outweigh any tough times. My motto is, life is a roller coaster. It goes down, but it always comes back up. There are 164, 165 of you in this class. By the way, that was the size of my class when I graduated. And a few of you will do extraordinary things, like some of my classmates. But most of this class will live ordinary lives. And that is the answer to why I was invited to be your speaker. They wanted me to inspire you to live extraordinary, ordinary lives. I met Steve, the owner of the restaurant Have a Cow in St. Louis, and he tells his amazing story of how he came to open the restaurant. He wanted to make a difference in people's lives who were struggling. He went to Africa because he envisioned himself doing something extraordinary. But once he was in Africa, he realized he wasn't very good at speaking Swahili, and he didn't know how he was going to communicate the impact he could really make. That's when it came to him that he didn't need to travel to Africa to do something for others. He could do it at home, each day in the lives of ordinary people around him. He opened Have a Cow restaurant and a farm in Owensville, Missouri, where he raises cattle and honeybees. The beef and honey are used in his restaurant. The restaurant and the farm give jobs to people who wouldn't have been given the opportunity because of some mistakes they had made earlier in their lives. He encourages them to work hard, be responsible, and most of all, love their enemies. He couldn't change the whole area where he ministers, but he could make a difference in individual lives, those that he touches every day. Putting the principle of compound interest in the equation, who knows? Maybe his kindness will reach all the way to Africa. As an actor, Jason Segel says, "One thing I think never goes out of style is purity, niceness and purity. And the Muppets have never lost that. Kermit is especially just a wide-eyed wonder, unblinking. He can't blink, which could be good. The game before your eyes ultimately suggests that happiness, fulfillment, and the warm sense of a life well lived, that doesn't come from other people's perceptions, but rather it comes from your self-acceptance." The American novelist Tom Robbins wrote this in a long-lost graduation speech. "You have no responsibility except to yourself, to the fullest limit of yourself, and to find out who you are, or perhaps I should say, remember who you are. Because deep down in the secret velvet of your heart, far beyond your name and address, each of you knows who you really are. And that, being true, cannot help but behave graciously to all other beings, because it is all other beings. Your life will be like mine. You are about to blink and head into a new adventure. And when you blink, close your eyes, and you're all alone in your own universe. Even as you sit here tonight in your chairs, you're among your classmates. But when you blink, you're alone. So turn to your neighbor and tell them, I'll miss you when you blink. And as you blink your way through life, live extraordinary, ordinary, every day with your eyes wide open, always remembering who you are. And remember, I'll miss you when you blink. Thank you. I need to say one more thing. Ethan McClinton, if you're out there, Ethan, my dad was your grandfather's Corey League coach. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Aylesworth. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce the DHS Symphonic Band under the direction of Mr. Darrell Boyer as they perform Torrents of Fire, composer Larry Neek. right, thank you, Mr. Boyer. Before we move on, how about a round of applause for our choir and our band students for their great music tonight? All right, at this time, it is my pleasure to introduce our valedictorian for his address to you, Mr. Sean Patrick McKee.
I would like to first take a moment to thank all the amazing teachers, staff, parents, and community members that not only helped this moment become a reality, but also helped guide us through our many years of school. Thank you. I would also like to thank Miss Queen for everything that you do for us and you've done for our class and for the classes before us. You are a beacon for us with all the reminders and everything that you do for us. Thank you. It still feels like a fever dream to be up here, about to walk into the next stage of our lives. Last Thursday, the Athena kids all went back, or not all of us, but some of us. We all went back and we discussed certain memories that we all had of each other. We bounced back reminiscing between, do you remember this person, or do you remember this teacher, what we did here, there, especially May Day. And as we reminisced about our childhood, it's when the reality really struck me that this was it. Our early schooling days were over and we were moving on to the next phase of our lives. It seems like just yesterday that we started junior high and I was going to be forced to talk to kids from an entirely different school. All the while I thought the kids that I knew in 6th grade were going to be my best friends for the rest of my life. And looking around now, most of my friends are from different schools. That's just what happens to people though. You meet, you grow close, and time in life takes you in different directions. It might sound sad, but the people that leave us are often the ones that leave the biggest impact on us. Someone once told me that people come into our lives for a reason. It could be a moment, a day, or years. At the end of the day, what matters most is how they impacted us. Everyone has heard the age-old debate of whether humans are products of our genetics or our environment, otherwise known as nature versus nurture. Though our genetics do determine certain aspects of us, the people we love and cherish the most have a far greater impact. We might not know about it, but they help us grow into the person we are today. And even now, you might not be the same person you are after a couple years in college or the military or the workforce. Personally, I wouldn't change a thing about how I grew up, not including COVID. All the people, all the memories, I keep them the same. And despite all the obstacles that COVID did present for us, we persevered. We overcame it. Even though we missed the end of our sophomore year, and our junior year was kind of a mess. We spent the majority of our junior year behind plastic barriers and wearing masks, and some of you opted for a virtual school year for some reason or another. This pandemic divided our class into groups and factions and prevented us from truly getting to know each other better. When drafting this speech, I was trying to incorporate memories that everyone would have so it didn't feel like anyone was being left out. And yet I struggled because all of us had different high school experiences. But as I look back upon all we've done this year, I realized that this was the year that we took advantage of the most to make all the memories we could. Whether it was the D block at football games or basketball games, the senior prank and the subsequent cleanup, and even homecoming week. We might have missed out on some time in our underclassmen years, but we more than made up for it in the last couple months. It's upsetting to think about all the friends I've made, whether we hang outside of school or not. We were all brought together for the sole purpose of schooling, but we've all become so much closer during that time. Even though I didn't always enjoy being in school, I still wish I had more time with you guys. And although our time was limited and we were stuck within the confines of school, I will cherish all the memories I've made with all the amazing people I've come to know. I knew before starting this speech that I wanted to close it with a quote. And a couple of months ago on TikTok, I read something and I knew I wanted to use it. Turns out it's from an iconic honey-obsessed cartoon bear. He says, "How lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Even though we've had our ups and downs, I will always have a special place in my heart for the class of 2022. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sean. Before we go any further, I would like to say how much of an honor it's been to be a part of your journey. I started at DeSoto High School the same year that you started at DeSoto High School. So we have all weathered some hard times and some wonderful times, and I'm proud to be here with you today. I want to, at this time, take a moment to recognize and thank the following seniors for making the commitment to serve our nation in the military. DeSoto High School is proud of all of our servicemen and women, both past and present. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Ethan Helms, United States Army. Asher Anderson, United States Marines. Cheyenne Shaw, United States Marines. Colin Turnbow, United States Marines. Nathaniel Barch, Army National Guard. And Jillian Heath, Army National Guard. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Hey, at this time, we'll be presenting our class of 2022 with their diplomas. You guys got this under control? You got it under control? We got a long...
If I don't drop them or throw them or something, you never know about me.
There we go. Asher Kincaid Anderson. Micah Joseph Avila. Dalton Joseph Backoff. Nathaniel Carter Barch. Deidre Lee Beck. Connor Joseph Beal. Brian Charles Benjamin. Luke Andrew Blank. Eric Thomas Powers Bolin. Jacqueline Marie Boley. Chase Patrick Boynton. Madison Page Breyer. Caleb Joseph Brown. Jenna Elizabeth Bullock. Aaron William Burgett. Ebba Sigrid Elizabeth Carlman. Seth Elijah Christensen. Alyssa Renee Coleman. Caleb Matthew Coleman. Jacob Michael Coleman. Riley Nicole Coleman. Miranda Bay Copeland. Ashton Dawn Courtney. Alexis Nicole Krogan. Abby Ray Davis. Abigail Rose Dean. Kendra Ann Decker. Cody Stephen DeClue. Kaylee Ann Depew. Destiny Kaylin Dirks. Caitlin Yvette Dodd Bailey. Olivia Jade Drew. Alyssa Neely Duffner. Gavin Benjamin Dunn. Emma Leandra Dutton. Hannah Elizabeth Eberhardt. Lane Taylor Ellis. Levi Evan Ellis. Dominic Michael Escobar. Ian Michael Tate Escobar. Taylor May Fickey. Jaden Madison Fingerson. Brody James Fisher. Jen Marie Markey Fisher. Anthony Lucas Gaw. Kathleen Elizabeth Gatos. Jaden Lawrence Gears. Ethan Matthew Gerst. Sophia Pauline Giannino. Madeline Rayanne Goins. Frederico Delgado Goncalves. Trista Nicole Grobe. Charles Adam Gimmer. Aurora Lynn Gunnett. Robbie Hampton. Timothy M. Harmon. Olivia Grace Hartwell. Nathan Robert Haverstick. Christian Matthew Hawes. James Lee Haynes, Jr. Anna Elizabeth Hurst. Jillian Elizabeth Heath. Samantha Nicole Heine. Ethan Wayne Helms. Jaden Diane Hendricks. Dylan James Henry. Lucy Marie Hewer. Carson Tyler Hickman. Haley Elizabeth Hill. Gabriella Paige Hines. Ethan William Hodge. Xander James Holler. Jack Edward Hooper. Molly Kate Huffman. Bradley Thomas Hunt. Emily Grace Hurt. Madison Rose Jackson. Chloe Anime Jett. Mackenzie Leanne Jones. William Paul Kemphy. William Frank Kaiser. Aiden Wayne Cates. Thomas Lee Kerbler. Samantha Ellen Kidwell. Hunter Joseph Trenton Kickbush. Megan Sue Kite. Joshua Eric Cook Jr. Marissa Jean Koch. Caleb Jonathan Culp. Sydney Jane Ann Latham. Gerard Michael Lottewasser III. Brian Wyatt LeClaire Smith. Daryl Allen Lemons III. Isabella Jane Lewis. Gabriella Noel Lucas. Tyler Lee Mahan. Grant Thomas Mann. Matthew Robert Manning. Bowen Lee Massey. Olivia Grace McAllister. Ethan Riley McClinton. Delaney Shea McCoy. Jenna Michelle McCaleb. Sean Patrick McKee. Kylie Marie Miller. Dominic Gabriel Meinhardt. Caden Marie Meesey. Zachary Michael Moorfield. Amber Paige Morrison. John Michael Mullen. Marissa Renee Mulligan. Jason Terrence Peckron. Riley Nicole Petch. Cody Coran Petty. Shanoa May Phillips. Abigail Grace Portell. Tristan Tanner Pratt. Xander Ray Presnell. Haley May Probst. Griffin Charles Rasnick. Victoria Abigail Rasnick. Allison Rose Ricard. Ryan Cody Reed. Chase Alexander Reichmuth. Lillianne Grace Richardson. Dulciana May Rinker Lugo. Melanie Nicole Rogers. Emily Paige Sampson. Michael Patrick Henry Scharf. Aubrey Rose Schmidt. Michael Andrew Schmidt. Julia Ann Schumer. Trenton Ray Schutte. Dante Christopher Seppi. Cheyenne Marie Shaw. Ashton Nicole Skiles. Caitlin Elizabeth Spiker. Robert Colby Spiker. Tate William Steinman. Zoe Lynn Stewart. Audrey Renee Strahan. Dorian Dupree Strong. Emma Paige Sulzer. Kendra Rose Sulzer. Joseph Anthony Tabaka. Serenity Marie Tesmer. Tony Lee Thompson. Nicole Kathleen Tetcher. Colin Michael Dean Turnbow. Drake Matthew Turnbow. Kyla Renee Ernest. Tyler Langdon Vandeveer. Carly Jean Velasco. Riley Rose Venturo. Kayla Ann Vogelsang. Sarissa Voiles. Mariah Faye Wall. Alexandria Michelle Wallach. Gabrielle Paige Whitby Young. Matthew Preston White. Wesley Garrison White. Mark will. Here, move this way, Mark. Excellent, Wes. Emma Ann Williams. Lacey Ann Womack. Hey, at this time, I'd like to bring to the stage Senior Class President Sydney Latham for the turning of the tassels.
Good evening. My name is Sydney Latham, and as the senior class president, I wanted to start off by saying to my fellow classmates, we did it. Congratulations for persevering through each and every obstacle that we've come across to get here. Although tonight marks the end of our time together as the class of 2022, it also marks new beginnings and a whole new journey. I guess that also means no longer being able to depend on Google Classroom's reminders to tell us when an assignment is due. Is that what being an adult means? Here is to the forever lasting memories we made together, the laughs we shared, and the fact that, hey, we're almost out of here. We are almost DeSoto Dragon graduates. And finally, for the moment you and I have been waiting for, graduates, please rise and soak in the last few moments of being a high schooler. Now move your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations to the class of 2022. You are officially graduated.
Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2022.
I need my equipment back to the band room.
Thank you for attending and drive safely.